Yeah.
Interesting. We are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. Our guest this morning talking about chronic pain and hypnosis, Dr. Lindseday Mckernan. Just fascinating what she does and how she's helped patients like Steve Olson here, who's no longer taking his opioid pills, which was a treatment for a nervous muscle condition he has that caused him a great deal of pain. And you are able through hypnosis now to block it, and you're walking, you look great, you feel good?
I've lost about 20 pounds since I started this.
Are you able to go back? I don't know. Are you working now? Are you able to go back to work? Are you on Social Security disability?
No, I'm on disability.
Yeah, okay. But you're able to get around more, certainly, than you once were.
And even with sleep, it can have an effect on your sleep with all that chronic pain, too.
Yeah.
So one of our sessions is actually, that we went through, is actually to help you learn how to get to sleep and get a decent night's sleep, which
so many people,
even with my pain and all the medications I was on, I'd take a Lunesta or something to help me go to sleep, and 3 hours later I'm still wide awake.
Wow, what a difference. All right, let's go to Brian. Hi, Brian.
Yes, the other Vanderbilt doctor you had on there, I'm pretty sure he was there in the morning, and you talked to him about medical marijuana and different intense pain things. He was a real mellow guy. He had really short hair, being polite. He was a little bit baldy.
I think it might have been one of the doctors who was one of the lawmakers that was sponsoring the medical marijuana bill.
No, this guy was a doctor.
Yeah, this guy was a doctor. But go on. What's your point?
Yeah. Anyway, he's a doctor. He was on your show, or maybe it was nighttime or in the morning. But and he talked about how there's already cannabinoids in your system, and so that's sort of like what medical marijuana is. And then, like at nighttime, I tend to try to relax. I remember in college for an extra credit thing, we took a yoga thing, whatever, and it really does help.
Yeah. Okay, and I'm glad those two things. It's not really hypnosis, but you said you guys deal with, you do yoga?
Yes.
You said acupuncture, and you did bring up CBD oil, which in the state of Tennessee, if it's hemp, is legal. And I think he was referring to Senator Steve Dickerson, who is a doctor. And he was an advocate for the medical marijuana, which would have included, marijuana with THC, and it did not pass this legislative session. But right now, CBD oil is legal if it's made from hemp. And I just don't know. That a lot of people are talking about as a possible alternative for some conditions to opioids.
Yep. Well, as Brian was talking about, I think it's just about finding different things that are inside of you, resources that you have, and learning again that you can help yourself. Because over time, when you're in pain and you go through doctors who may say those words, there's nothing more we can do, it makes you think that things are helpless, that there's nothing that can be done, and that you can't do anything to fix it either. So you lose your own faith in yourself. So part of it is building back that sense of self-efficacy.
Well, you're exactly right. This society is a pill-popping society. I mean, it just is, period. People want pills, and pills help a lot of people. But I mean, it's just like, I have a condition, give me a pill. And it's a culture. I mean, even me just hearing you talk about that, I was brought up that way, and you forget, yeah, sure, I exercise and take care of my body, but the power of my mind to maybe block off pain in my thighs from chronic muscle nerve issues, it just doesn't occur to a lot of folks.
Well, and you might have been dealing with it for a decade.
Right.
So then thinking, oh sure, now I'm going to go and do hypnosis and this will help. You just don't have much faith, because you also want to protect yourself from being hopeful and being disappointed. There's a lot of really complex processes that go on in this, but I think over time you can build up your sense of self-esteem too, because you're doing something to help yourself.
Well, see, now I think I got the sense too that you came to this in a way out of desperation, because even with everything you were getting, you said you were that 1 or 2% that it just still, even with opioid treatment, wasn't going to work.
No. It did. Opiates did absolutely nothing for me.
But would you advocate? I mean, there are folks out there, and I'm down on opiates in general because of the epidemic. But I know opioids, in proper usage, help millions of people every year dealing with pain, and that's legitimate. But if you are on that and it is working, would you still suggest that, hey, if you could get off opioids, even if it's working for you, why not try something else?
Get off any of those pills.
Yeah, that's my point.
Because the effect of it
long-term.
long-term on your body, or even short-term, what it can cause, other damage and other issues.
That's what I would think.
I had one pill that would actually, when I took it, I do not have seizures, but when I take the pill, it will give me mild seizures.
Yeah. Well, and it brings up a good point too of, and whenever you want to do that or make a medicine change, particularly with something that you've built up a tolerance for naturally over time, you want to do it with a doctor. So it's not like you just go to the OSHA center and abandon all other medical treatment.
Right.
We work with providers, so we work in parallel with current medical treatment.
To slowly maybe
maybe
wean
that's
yourself
a part
off
that might be your goal,
works.
or it may not. It may be that you just want to learn other ways of managing pain, and over time you might want to approach that. But that's a discussion between the person and their practitioner, because I've seen it done a lot of different ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's take a call from Jewel. Hi, Jewel.
Top of the morning, my friend.
Top of the morning, my friend.
Thank you for this feast you set before us today. You never fail to have some brain food on there. It's good for all of us. I've talked to you sometimes about when I got shot down there on Lower Broad.
Yeah.
And I still got a bullet in my right ankle. And as I laid there in bed in the hospital, they was giving me morphine every little bit, you know, for the pain. And I got to thinking I could really get to liking this stuff. So rather than take a chance of getting hooked on something I couldn't afford anyway, once I got out, I went to my brain and I said to my brain, now when they shoot me with this morphine, follow where it goes up through my veins and into my brain. And I kept doing that over and over, and I would put off getting my shot for pain until I just couldn't stand it, you understand? And then I just kept doing that over and over. I don't know if that was self-hypnosis or not.
Well, it sounds like
it
worked
worked for me, and I followed that medicine into my brain where it released those endorphins or pain relievers that are already in there naturally, and it helped me tremendously. As a matter of fact, they give me a script for morphine when I got out. I kept it for a long time, but I threw it away because it scared me.
That's great. What do you think? I mean, Jewel on his own maybe tried. Would it sound like a form to you, or what was he doing there?
It sounds like he was trying.
Yeah.
And what he talked about doing was he knew what the sensation was like.
Yes.
And so put himself in a relaxed state to try and replicate those perceptions in the brain. At least that's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what I heard, and that makes sense to me that he would be thoughtful enough to try that.
Yeah, it's a great effort to try that on your own. But let's just think about multiplying that by 15, and that's what you do one-on-one in hypnosis.
Because so what you're saying is there's a procedure. I mean, he kind of sounded like he was going there trying to think that way. But to train your mind that way, I guess there's been a lot of study that's put into it about the right way or maybe the best way to do that.
Well, there are a lot of different forms of hypnosis. There's no one way to get into hypnosis.
So we're not talking with the pocket watch.
I don't have a pocket watch.
Yeah, okay.
No,
I didn't think so. Right.
I don't have a pocket watch. Sometimes it helps to focus your gaze as you're trying to listen to the directions to become really relaxed, so your eyes aren't darting all over the place.
Could you close your eyes? Yeah, that too. All right,
Yeah, so it starts by focusing on relaxation all through the body in different ways, and then you turn your mind towards these suggestions. Sometimes you cultivate a place to go in your mind. That's a lot of something I like to focus on, a place that feels safe and comfortable, and then we can introduce different things while in that place.
You know, we talked about the pain and some of these basic things that can really benefit from it. But I even asked you during the break, do you do it sometimes for yourself?
Yes.
And you don't look like someone who has about physical problems or anything like that, but tangibly for someone who's just living a normal life that maybe doesn't have some of the issues this gentleman's dealing with, how can this help you? How can this help you or me?
Well, I can tell you, I have migraine headaches.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm also on the lower end of responsiveness to hypnosis. I've done that scale, so I know where I am, and I use it regularly to help with migraines. And sometimes it helps when I wake up at night. Migraines can wake you up at night,
I'm sure.
So I will use it to get back to sleep.
Now, again, I just want to be clear. This doesn't mean it's curing your migraine.
No.
You're able to somehow block out the horrible discomfort you're getting from that headache.
It might reduce how much I'm bothered by it, or it may bring my pain down from a 7 out of 10 to a 5 out of 10. But that will help me get back to sleep.
Okay. but it's not going to heal like if I pull a muscle.
Yeah.
Okay. I might be able to block out the pain to some degree from that achy muscle, but it's not going to make me be able to run fast all of a sudden.
Right. I don't think you can defy human anatomy.
Yeah, if there's a it's not going to heal you necessarily faster, but it might help you deal with the pain.
Yeah, and you know, in those surgical studies I was talking about, it can help you recover faster because your body isn't as distressed, because your brain isn't as distressed.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be back with our final segment in our conversation. The number 737-7587. More right after this.